I did my undergraduate degree in economics, and when I graduated, I was on the MBA corporate consulting path. And a part of me was not completely sure about that, and so I, as a side project, applied to the Peace Corps. And when I got accepted, I decided to take 2 years off and go to South America.
Learning Quechua has broadened a lot of horizons for me. I am able to look at the world through a different lens. In my spare time, I am a comic book artist. One of my projects that I've been tending to in the meantime has been trying to create a children's book made entirely in Quechua. The book is titled Pucachucha, which means red possum in English, and it's about a spirit girl who lives in the ruins of an ancient civilization.
Well, I am Peruvian, and for me, learning Quechua was something that I wanted to do for a long time, but I didn't have the time when I was in Peru. Since the majority of the people in Peru speak Quechua, it should be a priority for the social scientists to know a little bit more about the language.
Today in class, we worked on a market simulation. Nina drives a really hard bargain whenever it comes to buying and selling items.
I get so excited about teaching this because they're actually bringing me new concepts to me too, and I learn with them. I have had engineers who are interested in like architectures of Inca ruins, or people who are interested in the environment.
And I think one of the big benefits of taking Quechua here at KU is that it's such a small class that you really get one-on-one attention and you really progress rapidly. And I think one thing that Quechua has done is that it's allowed me for broader options and broader opportunities. So if I do work in Ecuador one day, I'm not simply confined to working with Spanish-speaking populations, but it's really opened my doors to possibly working with indigenous populations and Quechua-speaking groups.
The University of Kansas has a great opportunity for you to be able to expand your knowledge of Latin American studies because they offer indigenous languages. And the one that I'm particularly interested in is Kaqshakal, which is an indigenous language of Guatemala.
Kaqshakal Maya is one of 25 to 30 or so different Mayan languages that are spoken throughout Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, and the Yucatan Peninsula. They are spoken natively by millions of Mayan people. One of the features of Kaqshakal Maya that my students tend to be the most fascinated by is the way that Kaqshakal and other Mayan languages anthropomorphize the world around them. So they'll take something like a house, and their term for door will be the mouth of the house, which is ruchi chai. One of the neatest things for my students is that through learning Kaqshakal, they get a fresh perspective on the world.
I'm particularly interested in Kaqshakal children's poetry because of the Pan-Maya movement right now with the revitalization of culture and language. I've also been working with an NGO, a nonprofit organization that provides healthcare in Kaqshakal-speaking communities in Guatemala. I worked with a fellow Kaqshakal student. We produced an informational video on diabetes in Kaqshakal.
Having language skills in Kaqshakal has been essential to being able to gain a holistic picture of what the daily life is like in Guatemala.
The Mosquito people live on the Nicaraguan Atlantic coast and the Honduran Atlantic coast, and they're a post-contact group, so they were formed after the Spanish discovery of the New World.
One of the greatest part about the Mosquito people is that the people and the language are both awesome. It kind of sounds a little bit African, but it has a lot of influence from English and Spanish.
I love speaking Mosquito. A lot of play in the language. There's also a lot of onomatopoeia. So if you want to say you're excited about something, you would say literally, Yang kupi, nick, 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 nick. So the sound of the heart is repeated, nick, nick, nick.
For me, Mosquito was a great learning opportunity to understand a culture and a history that's totally remote and isolated from my own world that I live in here in Kansas. it really provides a sense of personal accomplishment for me, in addition to opening a door of trust and building relationships with the communities that I've been working in.